everyone. My name is Lauren Pike, and today I have the awesome opportunity to introduce our team. For this course, we are known as Team Death Eaters, and it is myself, Molly Linder, Yazmeen Renova, and Olivia Shapiro. So today we are going to be spending a little bit of time talking about ideation techniques and showing a little bit about some of the different techniques that we've picked and how they relate to our point of view Mad Libs.
Okay, so I'm Olivia. I never did a Mad Lib before this, so here's my best attempt at a Mad Lib. I did a nonprofit organization, Figure Skating Club, needs to improve their social media presence and make their website more user-friendly because they make important club announcements like signups for competitions and test sessions on their social media and on their website and often don't reach the majority of their club members. I chose the ideation technique Cheat Storm because they already have a decent amount of stuff in place and they've had a logo for years. They just need kind of better ways to reach their audience and maybe make their website a little bit more appealing and less cluttered. So that was going to be one of my solutions, and I guess we can all just kind of bounce ideas around and just type them in as we talk.
Yeah. And then with that, I think another idea to get more exposure and to also get the name out there is to they can start collaborating with different social media profiles, because you could share a post with somebody and it'll be on the same, it'll be on their like feed just as much as it will be yours. So it would reach, not only your followers, but someone else's. So that'd be another way to get the name out there.
I
Okay,
feel
so
like also having like an event maybe where people from all over the city come to support that event. I feel like that would really boost the business, the nonprofit organization a lot. Because that's what we do in my city. I'm from Dalton, Georgia, but they've been opening a lot of little places nowadays and they keep making these events and I always feel like that really boosts their social media presence.
okay.
So one thing, I'm actually an ag comm undergrad. And so in one of our classes, we talked about a lot of different businesses and organizations that have social media courses you can take to like improve your presence on social media, to talk about different boost systems and things like that. So I think doing something like that, then they would be able to use some of the material they've already created and just learn how to better reach their audiences.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like looking at your Mad Lib, it says, improve their social media presence, which I think all of those would do. And then, I think that you kind of answered a solution right here where it says, make their website more user friendly, which I think would help, continue bringing people back, because having a website that's hard to navigate really just like turns people off of the brand really quickly. At least it does for me. And so I think that's also a solution in this.
Okay, sweet. I guess that's just what we're gonna do for each one. So I guess Molly.
Yeah, and so my overall topic was sports, and so looking at that, kind of looked at different streaming platforms for specifically baseball, because volley is kind of a mess. Everybody's kind of been complaining about it. They black out their stuff, and so my Mad Lib was an adult parent with 2 kids that lives outside of Atlanta needs to access a streaming service that can be trusted, because volley has been known to black out games regardless of the package secured, and his local TV stations no longer stream the Braves game and would rather pay a hefty price for a streaming service that the family can access anywhere rather than go to the games. So, looking at that, I think that ideation technique that best fits that is a mind map, just because, I mean, there's so many different solutions that you could go from here. And I feel like doing that, you can kind of branch off and see the different different ideas and see where it connects and all of that. But I was just kind of thinking of like tech solutions, which I feel like an obvious one for that is going to be like Bali fixing their web, like their stuff. Like that's obviously a definite like fix, but also, you know, if it was creating a new company, I think that looking at it from like a YouTube TV standpoint and securing contracts and stuff and making it just a baseball platform, but with the, you know, user-friendly aspect of what YouTube TV is.
Okay, so you wanted to use mind mapping as your ideation technique. I was gonna say, do you want to type or do you want me to type? I feel like their biggest problem is they're not keeping users and watchers in mind. Because Bali also shows other sports too.
Yeah.
I feel like Volley should probably do like some user research and then maybe like a whole year of just really dedicating that research and testing it, testing it, and applying a lot of that to their future.
And I mean, realistically, bouncing off of that, they need to be doing like interview user research. Like they need to sit down and talk to customers because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are unhappy with Bali.
So I'm not familiar with Bali. I honestly have no idea what Bali is. I'm not a huge into watching sports kind of person. But just kind of thinking about mind mapping and the Mad Lib, I instantly think of the consumer rather than the company. So I think about like when you have the little circle, like does everybody know what I'm talking about when you draw this out?
Yeah. That
Yeah, like I would think that the middle circle would be the consumer. And then that they could put like you guys were talking about like YouTube TV up here. And I think about like ESPN Plus and all the other things like that. And then doing research on it to figure out which one offers the best deal for the best sports. And that's how I would kind of relate mind mapping to this, would be more on the consumer side of doing the research and looking into that to figure out if Bali isn't satisfying what they want, what other company would satisfy what they're looking for.
So in my head, whenever I thought of like the mind mapping, I kind of thought like what you did, like the, you know, I'm trying to draw, which don't worry about my poorly drawn circles. So you've got your customer or your, oh my gosh, your customer here. And then, you know, the two options are either, I guess you kind of have three. So you could either like no stream and like don't stay informed at all, or you could, you know, go to the game. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness I'm not getting my degree in writing on a computer. Then the third one would be to stream it. And so from there, then it would kind of go, you know, your stream would then have your YouTube TV, ESPN Plus, Bali, and then you could kind of, you know, it goes down the line.
I gotcha. Yeah, I think I had skipped to, I totally turned off my writing part. I had skipped to the already chosen streaming part of your mind map, and that's kind of where my mind map was starting. So I think mine was just a continuation of where you had started thinking.
Yeah, and some other ones that even if it was like a, you know, we're not totally looking at Bali and we're not wanting to fix that and they're not wanting to fix themselves kind of thing. Could also look at it as an opportunity for company and potential growth in that. And if y'all can hear the lawnmower outside, I'm so sorry. But, you know, there's also create an app similar.
Oh yeah, nice.
And so with that, I was thinking, you know, not only would you have your play-by-play or in radio, but you could also utilize, you know, have the streaming option and have it just completely based off of baseball. And so it's kind of a baseball one-stop shop for people, no matter what or how they're able to stay updated. And then, you know, similar to website similar. to YouTube.
The other thing too, if you're gonna look from the perspective of like the user or the person who's watching or trying to subscribe and watch baseball, I mean, like if enough people are gonna get annoyed and pissed off about not being able to watch games, then other companies should look into purchasing rights to stream the game.
Yeah.
Well, and also from the consumer side, I think having an app or a website, I think either one could work, that would allow you to compare the services. Like I think of Apple's website, they have a feature on there where I can compare like the iPhone 7 to the iPhone 12 to the iPhone 14. And I can see like, oh, it has a better camera. Oh, it's this much more. Having a website or an app or some kind of source like that would be a cool solution to allow consumers to kind of compare different sources where they could get the game to determine what the best fit for them is.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like also maybe reviews, like being able to leave reviews so that other consumers are able to kind of see what they're getting themselves into before subscribing to Bolly.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are all great ideas. Lauren, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my Mad Lib reads, a busy adult person who is new to couponing needs a single source with real life examples of couponing scenarios with breakdowns on how to do each deal and definitions of what each term means, because visiting multiple websites and sources is too time consuming for the busy adult. So for those of you that may not know, I know we talked a little bit about it earlier. I love couponing. I'm a huge couponer. I actually have a room in my apartment full of what people call stockpile, which is like when you coupon for stuff you don't necessarily need right that minute, but you might need it later on, or you might donate it to somebody. So it is a real passion of mine. And I put a couple examples on there. I don't know if we want to click on a few of them. Like the freebie guy's a really good example. The second one down there. It's a source for couponers, but this website is like super cluttered, which is kind of where the inspiration for my Mad Lib came from. Like if I was not a couponer that used this website on a daily basis, to me it would look like a whole bunch of ads that you could get some kind of crazy virus on your computer from, and you probably don't want to click on. Or if you want to look at either of the other two, Southern Savers or Crazy Coupon Lay, the other two sites I had on there, they're fairly similar. Southern Savers is organized a little bit better. You can tell it's kind of a blog style, but still it's not very easy to find what you're looking for. It involves a lot of scrolling and learning how to navigate the website. There's not really a lot of explanation of what different things mean. Like eventually on here somewhere you might see an acorn, and I never knew that the acorn meant that it was a super good deal that you should do right now until real recently, like right there next to Kroger is one. But there's just nowhere that gets explained unless you really dig through the website. So for my Mad Lib, thinking about a busy adult, I was trying to think of how it could be better condensed, all of these different websites that have all this great information. And so I chose sketching as my ideation technique. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Again, you can see not super easy to navigate, not a lot of information. It is not my favorite website. But so with sketching, I thought the best thing to do, at least in my brain, was to create a website that would kind of compile all of these other websites. And so in my mind, I thought sketching out kind of a website like this. I think having a navigation bar up here at the top is a really good idea, because I noticed a lot of the websites tried to have that, but their navigation bar was kind of confusing. And then I really like the idea of, that is not what I meant to do. Undo, there we go. I really like the idea of having another kind of, I hate to say navigation panel, but kind of like a menu over here, where if you're looking for like Publix deals, you can click on Publix right there. If you're looking for Kroger deals, you can click on Kroger there. If you're looking for newspaper coupon deals, you can click on it here. There's literally gazillions and gazillions of ways that you could sort it out. And then having the main feed pop up over here. But then also having a guide, a stationary guide as you scroll through the website that defines like acorn means this. This abbreviation means this. It's hard for me because I've been couponing for so long. I've learned what a lot of these mean. But just something like this that would kind of show the breakdowns. And then even if there was a way, I'm not great with websites, but to reference where that original deal came from. So like if it came from Southern Savers, giving Southern Savers the credit, but being able to pull all of these different things into one site so that you're not just relying on like the lady that runs Southern Savers or the guy that runs Freebie Guy, so that they can all be compiled into one place.
Yeah, I think I like your idea of like pulling it all together, but I think if you did something like, for example, a website and then had like a menu bar up here and maybe, oh, that was not a straight line. We could do a little line right there. Here you could have like categories like groceries,
Yeah.
beauty products. Why can't I consistently draw here? I just want to draw, guys. There we go. So like beauty products or not. Maybe I'm not drawing. But like down the side, you'd have like beauty products and like groceries and whatever else kind of like categories that people usually like would use coupons for. And then along the top, you could even have like the links to like direct sources to like of the direct source of the coupon, like if it came from like a newspaper or if it came from, you know, one website or the other website to give them credit, or you just have like a nice little title and a little like attribution in the top right and just be like sources come from here, here, and here. But I like the idea of like along the side, like while you're scrolling, it's like stationary and it like consistently tells you what each symbol means or something like that.
Definitely.
That I was also thinking, like, you know, you have your typical navigation bar that has your, you know, you could do the beauty, groceries, household items across the top, and then have the drop down menus going into further explanation. And I was thinking on the side, do more of like, if there's a specific store, if there's a specific brand, you know, if your price range, that kind of thing is more like filter-ish the side. And then to explain to people what like the little logos are, like the little acorn. I think that even with like a pop-up thing that people have the like newsletters that pop up and they're like subscribe to our newsletter, that could be like watch out for the acorn, that means that this deal is, you know, going quickly and you should do it ASAP, that kind of thing, like when people visit the website. And then like in terms of like sourcing and stuff, I feel like hyperlinking within the article that is in on the website, where it will take you to the original source of that, so that everybody, you know, they get the credit for it, but it also is kind of like makes that one website kind of a one-stop shop and there's not a lot of clutter or confusion on what's going on.
I feel like it would also be kind of useful to have like maybe like a workshop or a tutorial that it gets linked to of someone showing you how to use this website exactly. So if someone's brand new to this, they would have a place to look up a tutorial or find out how to use the website.
Yeah.
Or even just like a tutorial about like, not even a tutorial, but like kind of a talk through about like how couponing works, like what, you know, how to get into it and all that stuff too. Could be like a one-stop shop for people who are veteran couponers and ones that want to just now get started.
Yeah. And then the only other thing with mine I had considered was also an app. Having an app that does these same features might be easier for people on the go because couponing is in stores. So sometimes you don't have your laptop with you.
Absolutely.
I think with the app, it might be cool to have like location settings on. So if you walk into a store and be like, check out these deals from Kroger, I see that you just stepped in there and here's what you can get on sale. And, you know, that might be a fun interactive thing for customers.
Yeah. Okay, Yazmeen, let's move on to yours. We've got 3 minutes left in this Zoom.
If this, before you're done, I'll process the Zoom and then we'll just hop back on and finish that.
The same link. Yeah.
So my Mad Lib was, a woman is facing difficulties in accessing affordable mental health services such as therapy or counseling, which can hinder their personal growth and well-being. She's searching for affordable and available resources to help her grow and express herself in these areas. And the ideation technique I chose was a brain dump. And a brain dump is very similar to a brainstorm, but it's done more individually. people write down their ideas and then they share them later on. So I feel like that really helps them process it a lot better than maybe just dumping and maybe a little bit more thought through.
So if everybody wants to choose like a color, we can just start
Right.
with
Mm-hmm.
dump. I'll do mine here.
Pull that back up. Sorry, Lauren, I did not mean to do that.
Oh, you're fine. All right, guys, it is saying we have less than a minute, so it might cut us off here in just a second.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the Zoom if we want to pause, and then I'll
We'll come
process and we'll come back.
Okay.
And we can go back to typing up some ideas.
I'll start with mine just so. Oh, I'll finish. Just let me know when you guys finish.
No, I just had a sentence that I hadn't typed all the way through.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Yazmeen, you got it.
Okay. So I came up with the tech solution to launch like an educational campaign on social media. I feel like this would kind of reduce the stigma around mental health because I feel like not a lot of people talk about it. Maybe explaining the importance of why it's important to talk about it and be able to, I mean, just support your mental health with different ways. And I also thought about maybe teaming up with influencers that might be comfortable speaking about their struggles that they've had with their mental health and maybe what has helped them, just to allow people to feel like they're not the only ones dealing with certain things. And I feel like these campaigns should have maybe different ways to cope with different issues that might arise in their lives, like self-care tactics or just little things like that that would help anybody dealing through different situations.
Yeah, I think definitely in this day and age, like because social media has such a large influence on people and influencers have so much influence on the way people act and buy things and do things and reach out for help, like that would be a really great way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, like even relating this back to like the sports world, it's just now starting to like the conversations finally starting to happen. And I mean, you had the gymnast, you know, that sat out because of mental health reasons and stuff. And it's just becoming more of a bigger part of the conversation. And so I think that having influencers from different, I guess, not departments, but more different focuses. So like not only, your ones that are focused on your beauty and fashion, but also your sports, the gaming aspect or the gaming world and all of those different ones, making it a conversation across platforms and across the different topics.
Mhm.
I put that reaching out to government services that provide like free or low cost help would be something that someone could do, and for that to happen, like government websites kind of suck and they're often really cluttered.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
just having like a one website that's like dedicated to like a compiled list of like government services in people's areas and regions, states, cities, whatever. And then similar thing with nonprofits. There's a lot of nonprofits that help people with mental health and just various like psychological services, and just having kind of like a guide where you can find all of those in different states and cities and such would be really nice.
Yeah, I kind of thought along similar lines. I was thinking of an online database just in general. I kind of had thought nonprofit, but really just in general, even if it was a business that kind of took that on or a local government, but a database that compiles all the local or online mental health care services in the area. I know at UGA, CAPS has something kind of similar to what I was talking about, where when you leave their service, they have like a whole list of places in the Athens area where you could go, which kind of inspired this thought because it's broken down by like the kind of like on Google, the 1 money sign, the 2 money sign, the 3 money sign, and do they accept insurance or not? Because for some people that's a big deal, for other people that's not such a big deal. But then also like what specialties those places cover, because some places are couples only, some places are only for PTSD, some places only do like depression and anxiety. So depending on what you're looking for, just having that overall database that compiles all of that would make it a lot easier than having to click on it, go to the website, find all the information for that place. But then I also was thinking, like, when you go to a website and you can click on a little chat bot and it says, "Hi, my name is insert chatbot name. How can I help you today?" And you say, "My name's Lauren and I'm looking for this, this, and this." Having something like that, whether it be on a website or an app, where you could just type in like your zip code, what you're looking for, like that same criteria, and it could search the database for you and provide, okay, here's a couple things I might work for you. And then you could say either yes or no, these do work for me, and it could kind of help narrow that information down so that it's not quite so overwhelming.
Mhm.
That would be really helpful, especially, I mean, like that could be very possible too, especially now with like AI language models. Like someone could create potentially a language model that would do that just the same way as like ChatGPT does that, but it could be directly, for searching that database of
Definitely.
mental health care services.
And I wonder if it's even worth thinking about, like, Olivia, you mentioned the, like AI chatbots and stuff like that. If, you have all these hotlines to where you can text, you can call, and you can actually like talk through different things with an individual. I wonder if it's almost possible to have something like that, but with AI, and something that's literally a 24/7 thing, like you can access it, and kind of like, like Chat GPT's, you can get on it whenever. And so something similar to that.
Yeah.
Um,
And AI would definitely be something that I feel like would benefit this.
yeah. Yeah.
And not to go too far from exactly, what the situation is, but I also think about, like I had a friend in college, who was going through a really rough time, and they reached out to, like the national line, like the national suicide hotline or the national depression hotline. And she was telling me when she reached out to those things that the wait time to even get a text message from somebody on one of those hotlines is something like 2.5 hours. And so I can't help but think, with all the technology in the world now, is there not something similar to Chat GBT or something like that that would give you something? I mean, it's not going to be as personalized as an actual human, but something is better than waiting 2.5 hours with absolutely nothing,
Mhm.
That could even be like a part of, as you wait to talk with like a human being, it's like, okay, well, go ahead and talk through with like this AI, and then that like your waiting time almost is still at least like you still,
Interactive.
yeah, you still get something from it.
Yeah.
And so similar to really all of y'all's idea, for those that can't afford medical care, something similar to like the GoFundMe, but specifically for that. So instead of having just like because GoFundMe is kind of like a dump of like everything. I mean, you've got weather crisis and all that kind of stuff that's kind of dumped into GoFundMe, and people kind of broadcast that where they need to. But having something that's specifically for these things, and then also like offer like the hotline over both the phone and for Zoom that people need to like ASAP talk to somebody, because like you said, like I mean, a 2-hour wait time is ridiculous. I mean, that shouldn't be the reality of it. And so having something that is so accessible and so almost instant for people is going to be important as well. And then for lack of better terms, one-stop shop has just kind of been like my phrase for today, I guess. But having that for mental health services with either an app or a site showing the different options around you, and also have that go along with like your filter. So like you said, Lauren, the insurance, the your price range, that kind of thing. And even with like a nav bar at the top, if you had couples, PTSD, and had them broken down into the different categories to where you could then click into, and it will then generate the responses for you.
Yeah, I think that'd be really nice.
Okay, so I think that we're actually pretty solid on step 1 of this. I think step 2 next is to go onto the Figma board, Figma, and put in each of our POVs, and then put in 3 or 4 of the solutions that we came up with, and then pretty sure you go comment on other people's as well. So
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I really kind of appreciated going through this as a group, because I think looking at all the different ways to break this down, like even though I did sketch for mine, like thinking about how brain dump could work for this, or thinking about how all of these different things can fit together, but also hearing like you guys came up with ideas I would never come up with, and that's really cool to me, because like to be able to take all of our ideas and put them together, I think is a lot better than just one person trying to think all of this through.
Definitely.
absolutely.